we're gonna go live. Hey everyone, sorry I, for some reason, didn't have the live stream button going live, so I've been doing the presentation for the last 10 minutes, and, well, I didn't hit the go live button, so we're going with what I got. So, sorry for the delay. I was on time, I just didn't hit the go button. But today we will be working on some fun stuff. Again, let me introduce myself for the second time during this live stream. My name is Larry Lathrop. I'm with OWLLytics with 2 L's. What I do is I specialize in data analytics and helping organizations utilize their data and understand it to make better decisions quicker, faster, and easier. A little bit about our organization. Mainly my wife and I organization. This is our website, OWLLytics. As you can see, there is myself on this page and my wife, she's over on the right, but this is our webpage, OWLLytics with 2Ls.com. And some more about me, my LinkedIn page. Here's my LinkedIn page. On here, you're gonna find me posting about data science, data analytics, data visualization, my passion, and entrepreneurship, and how those things intertwine. Those are my passions. Back to oh, right. So that's about me. I guess I should say why I'm qualified to do this. I've been doing it for years. I've helped several organizations. On the website, you'll see a couple of case studies. We're working on some more case studies, working on publishing more. There's a lot that we have to put out there, the case studies that might help you, but that's why we're doing this video, is to help you with your data analytics, or maybe give you some suggestions on how to solve a business problem that you might be having. Oh, sorry, I need some water. So if you know somebody who's having some problems with data or data analytics, or you're watching this for like the 5th time because you paused it a bunch of times and went back and saw it on YouTube, please share the video to somebody who you think this might be useful for, or hit the like, subscribe. But my big push is to share. I want to share this information with as many people as I can, so that way that they can see it's not so scary. You don't need to be a super data scientist, super programmer. You can do a lot of this stuff, solve problems, just thinking outside the box. But today's case study, oh, I got some more admin stuff I got to do, because I forgot to do it on the last one. But next week, we are not doing a case. I'm only doing 2 a month. And by chance, I don't know why I did it or how I did it, but I stacked 3 up in a row. So next week there will not be one, but in 2 weeks there will be one. And then in December 2, and in January 2, in February, we're gonna move that second location case from the first episode of this series. That if you really wanna watch it, go ahead. It's in the very beginning. Yeah, it's just fast forward to the hour mark. There was a lot of changes, big attempts, big ambitions, a lot of technical issues, and I'm slowly working them down as these go on. That's out of the way. Questions, comments, or concerns, or maybe suggestions or advice. I can see the chat here. I should be able to bring it up. I'll see it and I'll try to point it out, but my chat Q&A I don't think is working quite yet. I don't think I set it up correctly. Let me see if I can do that while I talk to you guys. But today is, what we're gonna do today is we are going to kind of do a pricing model, pricing optimization for somebody pricing optimization to get the optimal profit. That's what we're going for. Not the optimal price, but the optimal profit. There's a big difference, because when you look at the difference of them, you'll see, boom, I think I got it. Yeah, go me. One man show. When you're working with a pricing model and an optimization one, you might be thinking like, oh, I'll just find the demand where the demand meets the sale price and which one I can get the most profit on. That's not entirely true. There's some other caveats that you need to think about, like time, and that's what we're going to go in with in this case. Again, let me see. Yep, questions. It works now. It didn't work in the pre-recorded part where I was screwing up everything, but I'm getting it. We're going. Today's case is from an inspiration of me and my wife. We've had this problem where we were working ourselves to the bone. We were afraid to raise prices. We were afraid to try everything. But when we first started out, we did some t-shirts and some other things. So I thought this would be a fun one for all those who started in e-commerce and working with shirts or some sort of print-on-demand type of product. I think this might be too loud, so if I get too loud, I'm watching the mics go on. Let's read this. So in this case, this is Family Fun t-shirt business, and in Family Fun t-shirt, they are working to the bone on their business. They want to create a better work-life balance. That's why they started their own business. They want to be hanging out with the kids, I guess. They believe they can by finding the best price that provides them the most profit and saves them more time. Those are keywords: best price, more profit. I should have highlighted more time, because those are the key goals that we're trying to solve for them on this problem. With their goal is to improve the WLB, which is work-life balance, so they can spend more time with their kids. What do you know? How did I guess they were going to have kids? You know, I knew, because I was the one that wrote this. So yeah, I know what was going on. But this is a very common thing with entrepreneurs who start out or do e-commerce or anything. They go into business, they want to work-life balance, they want to work for themselves so they can spend more time with kids. Sadly, entrepreneurship and running your own business does not really work that way. You do sometimes have to, if you don't work 8 hours during normal hours, you have to make them up somewhere. So if you don't work out from 9 to 5 or whatever the hours are, you probably be working from 5 to like 2. You have to shuffle them. You still have, the work still has to get done. But there are ways to optimize it so you're not spending too much time on it and reducing your time load. And that's what this one's about. We're going to use pricing strategies to help that. So we know that the case, Family Fun t-shirt business. If that's your business name, this was by chance a coincidence. I did not look this up. I just made this up off the top of my head like an hour ago. So that's what they are. Questions I would ask them if they were a client of mine. I would ask, what is your current profit margin? And the reason I need to know this is because we need to see if they understand what their costs are. And when they say, oh, our profit margin's 60%, my brain's like, I don't know. That might work for a service-based business, but let's break this down. And I would go with them and say, what does it cost to make the t-shirt? What's the cost of shipping? What's the cost of processing? All of the nitty-gritty costs to get an actual one. And they get very surprised because they forget admin, labor, boxes, shipping labels, ink for the printer. They forget a lot of these costs that should be rolled into it. Next thing I'd ask is what's their current price and the type of pricing structures they've tried with, and what were the results. A lot of times it'd be like, what do you mean? We just sell for this. Have you changed the price at all? And in this case, they did. This is important because this is going to help us see where the demand is so we can understand the elasticity of demand. If you don't remember, that's an e-com term. Pretty much, I'm not going to explain it because I'm a terrible explainer, but pretty much if you raise the price, does demand go up or go down? But yeah, that's what you're looking for. And there's other tricks to use it. It's very important to understand these concepts because you can use these later on. Next question I'd ask, how much do you want to make as a minimum on a shirt? This is not saying what's your break-even point. No, a lot of people know how to do that, but it's what's your break-even point to where you don't want to lose, where you want to make some money, because you don't want to do stuff for free where you're breaking even. No, what's the minimum profit you need to make? And this is important because a lot of times you need to understand where your costs are and how you should be able to get a profit, some sort of profit. No matter the deal, you should walk out with some sort of profit when you're first starting out. Larger corporations, they have other tactics that they work. First starting out, always try to make sure you have some sort of profit in there. Even when you're cutting a deal or saying something and you're saying my cost, there is a cost. It was your time and your labor, and we'll get into that. Next question, what type of data set you have. I'm gonna ask this with every one of them, but this one, it's a CSV file, they downloaded it, they cleaned it themselves, they sent it to me, and I requested a certain one, they got it to me, and it's not what I was expecting. So again, this is something you would ask. And then how much time do you spend working now? So I'd ask them how much of the time they spend working now. If they're like me and my wife, it was like 12-hour days, 6 to 7 days a week. But it wasn't all, it was sporadic. So I could understand. Sorry, I gotta take a minute. I could understand. And well, those are the questions I would ask. And when you're working with people, these are the type of questions you should ask when you're sitting down with them and they're like, I want an analytics project. You need to dive deeper into these questions. These are just some of the ones I'd ask. If I was getting response, I'd bounce back and forth and kind of see where they were at and go from there. Okay, on to the data set. Again, if you have questions, please type them in the chat. I think I got it set up, and I'll try to load them up on the chat screen if you have any. I currently do not think I have any viewers from the screen, but if you're rewatching this, go ahead, please write it in the chat, and I'll try to respond or reach out to me. But the best way is to put a comment or in the chat. All right, here is our lovely data set. This is the data set we got. And this is the part where I stopped record, realized I wasn't live. So now we're all caught up. The data set that we have here is, it looks like we got a price, quantity sold, revenue. So that's probably multiplying it by which it is. And then we have, I'm gonna make these things kind of fast because I know you guys don't have all those. Looks like we got 7 different SKUs. It looks like it's repeated. It goes from price to 15 to 30. I know because I made this. This is a big data set. And there is a reason for that. Sorry. So the ideal data set I would have preferred is something more time series so I can chunk it into a week. If I could get like a year where they experimented with different prices to see where they were, I would go with that. But what I asked them for was, tell me the quantity you sold at the price you sold it, like the price point you had and how many you sold of each. And that's what they gave. So I don't know the time period of this, so this would be a question I asked when I got the data. So there's always this back and forth that you got to take with the client. And a lot of times they're going to say this to you. In this case, they did. I don't know how to do that. This is the only data I got, and this is what we want you to use. Okay, I can work with this. It's not ideal, and then you go in and explain, we would prefer some sort of other data set, but the time series one is one I like, because I can block off periods to compare and contrast, like how many they sold and see how much they were selling for. So this one, they're just giving us all their data. I'm guessing it's 3 months worth of data. That's what we're going to shoot for. I'd ask them how long the period they apply, so like 3 months. So here's the data set, quantity sold, the SKUs, and every good thing like that. What we have here is the cost. So we have the type of shirt, like I said, we have the 7 products, their cost, and then their labor hours. The labor hours I put in here, you normally will not get this unless you ask for it. And a lot of businesses probably don't know what their labor hours are. So this is very, very key when we get further down my thought process here of why we need to know the labor hours. So these labor hours is the cost, the time of labor it takes to make one shirt. And I go by labor hours. Some people say, what's the cost? You can also use the labor cost associated with it. Some businesses have the cost associated with it. But for me, I wanted the labor hours because I know labor fluctuates and we're gonna make something. And I knew with this client, their labor was gonna fluctuate. So we have 2 sets of data. We have the total cost, labor hours by the SKU, and then we have the sales data, which we don't know the time period. We're gonna guess 3 months is what we're hoping for, so it makes more sense. Again, we probably want a different data set, but we're working with what we got, and that's a lot of the times what you're gonna have to do in data analytics and data science. You work with what you got. We got products, price at points, quantity sold at those price points, and revenue. So before I go on to the next part of this presentation, let me zoom out because that is going to mess up the charts. But if you are watching this, write in the comments what you think, how your approach would be, because I'd love to see what your approach is and how you would handle it. But mine, I'm going very, very basic, very, very easy. Something you can do on a spreadsheet, which we're doing. But the approach I would take is, the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to visualize the data. I want to see the quantity that they have sold at price point. So it's going to be a scatter plot. And then from the scatter plot, I'm going to see what the data looks like. And a lot of times with these type of problems, because of demand, there's some cases which are really cool. But you'll have like scatter plots that go, as the price goes up, or the price goes up, the quantity goes, as the price goes up, the quantity will go up, and down the curve. A lot of times it's non-linear like this. Sometimes you get it, the binomial one is the most common, like the curve, where it scatters and you get this line curve. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Or you'll get the one where it's linear, positive linear growth. And those ones are really cool because then you essentially, I call those what I call them. We had a few products on ours where it was like, no matter what we rose the price for, demand kept increasing as it went up. Those you can consider perceived luxury goods, because if you raise the price, people are going to pay for it and they find it much more of a value. It's very strange, very unique. I might do a project on this in the far future, but what you'll see is you'll get the scatter plots going up, and as the price goes up, demand increases. And it's very hard to find the end point that they are, but you can keep going and you're going to make a killing on profit, because your profit never comes back down. But you want to keep going until you come back down. And what I mean by come back down is we're going to look at the price chart tab. You all know me. I'm going to make a dashboard. I'm going to make it very fancy-ish, very easy to use for a client, because client's job is not to rebuild it. I want to build them something they can use. So this is a very easy chart. All they would have to do is throw more data in here as time goes on, and it updates automatically because it's using these different functions. Now, like I was saying about the curve, see, we can see the scatter plot on this one. The chart, we'll go over the chart first, but you see the dots, they kind of make this curve shape. Let me see if I can remove that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take out the trend line real quick. Now, looking at this, we can see it kind of curves like this. It curves. It's not linear, it curves. So this is a linear. You can see that it's not perfect. So what we want to do is go binomial. And I went 2 degrees. That looked like the best fit. One thing you do want to look into is maybe you want to see the R squared. R squared, 0.604. The closer the R squared is to 1, the better the fit the model. I usually, my cutoff is like, if it's above 0.5, that's freaking amazing, because then the variation can be explained by 50%. It's the best way I can explain it. I'm not the person to explain these type of numbers, but I understand them. But if you really want to get nitty gritty on them, I would check out Brandon Foltz's channel, or Josh, I'm going to pronounce his name, StatQuest. We'll just call it StatQuest. Those two gentlemen break down stats very, very easy for you to understand very, very quickly. They're like 2-3 minute videos that explain concepts like this. So understanding R, you can see that this model fits very good. I know that this model fits very good and it works. So I did that one. All right, so now that we talked about like the binomial, let's go into what we did here. So yes, you can see the optimal price is 23. Woo, we found the answer, but let's go into how we did that. I built a query function that calls back the sales data. Can you guys see? Yeah, you guys can see it. I'm not going to zoom in because it'll make it hard for me to see the rest of what's going on. But what I'm saying is I want to select from the sales data. I want the first column, the second column, third column. Wait, first column, third column, which is the quantity. The second column, which is the sale price, and D, which is the revenue gain. And then I'm looking for where A, which is column 1, matches this one right here. Oh no, take that out. Ah! That's all right, that's what I use for. So what does that do? Well, I wanted to break it up for them so they can see by product. This is pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah! Brushing the shoulders up. Oh! Yeah, updates it all. Yeah, these are the kind of things that you want to do as a data analyst to make your boss's job easier, whoever you're working with. But it updates everything on this table. I leave tables on there. People love looking at tables. They prefer to look at tables because they don't believe the numbers unless they add them up on a spreadsheet. Good luck trying to get some of these spreadsheets out of here. So I throw them in there. But that's what this is calling. And then the negative one is saying I want to row down one because there's a header. A query function in Google Sheets is the main reason I prefer Google Sheets over Excel. Nothing about wrong with Excel. I just prefer the quick query function. I would recommend learning that. But what we have here is we have the quantity sold, the price sold, the revenue we've gained from it, the cost. So the cost is an array lookup formula, and what I'm saying is look up on these products over here, the products that I have at Sister Shirt, then go to the cost chart, and I want you to find me the cost associated with it. And it's not sorted, but it's indexed too. That's pretty much what. And then I'm saying multiply it by the quantity sold. That's what I'm just added, is multiply it by the quantity sold. So the cost, now we have a total cost. Labor cost. Why is that in here? Because they didn't have labor costs and they gave us labor hours. So I didn't know what their labor hours were, but I left it for them to figure out. So we have $12 an hour, and this reference is kind of the same thing as what we were doing before, but we are now multiplying it by, instead of looking up the cost of the shirt, we're looking up the hour cost. And what we're doing is we are multiplying it by the hourly rate. Since it was a 0.2 hour to make one shirt, and we're multiplying it by 12. But we're gonna put $10 there. What does this be like? Let's say it's 15. Yeah, we'll go with 15. And then our profit. Profit is taking the revenue minus the cost minus the labor cost, and that's how we get our profit. I do want to point something out. As we go down this, it goes up, 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 and up, up. There's this little down one, but up, 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 down, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, 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 down. As you can see, the data itself in that column kind of goes, you can't really see it, but trust me, it's there. It's there. So that's the kind of thing that I was talking about that you'll see. It's really strange how it works, but it'll blow your mind. So yes, you don't be afraid to raise your price because you might be missing out on some optimal pricing. The forecast. So what this forecast is doing, it is trying to guess, because we have a model. These are what models are called. We've made a model based off of this binomial. And the way you can get this, quick, easy way I do to get these, is I go over, let me see if I can scroll this one over so you guys can see it. This is going to be very, very important. So we're in here. Let me go back to my other one. But what you want to do here, what was that? Series. Yes. Quantity sold. So what you want to do is you want to hit the trend line. So you go trend line, then you can pick which one. Always try to see which one's best. I use a reference of which one's the best one by using R squared. It looks like binomial is the one. Now, you can't really type these binomials, get a function in Google Sheets that I'm aware of. If you know, please feel free to share people how to do it. The function I would suggest is the forecast one if you want to more streamline this. But the way you get the equation, use equation. And now that I put use equation, here is my equation for the model. And what I ended up doing was put these models over here on a separate one. You'll see in a little bit, but that's where they went. So it is very important to make sure that's how you would find the model that you want, like the formula to build the model to forecast. Now what that model is saying, as I bring the screen back, so hang on. what the model is saying is, we'll go to the, where'd my mouse go? Ah, there it is. So X is sale price. That's what X is, because X-axis is the sale price down below. So this one says negative 85.9 plus 8.65 times the X. So this is where we're gonna go, like, what's our price point? And then it'll be plus negative 0.018 times X to the second power. So your order of operations, very important that you set these up, but yeah, that's how you would set it up. So you just plug in the data when you wanted a forecast. So this forecast column down here is set up with these formulas that they're doing a VLOOKUP on the other one. But they're using X, which is the price points over here. And it's saying, take this X and plug it into this formula and give me what the expected profit forecast is. That's how it would work. But this chart is not using that forecast predicted one. This is using a quantity one. This one's using the quantity. So we are focused on the quantity sold with the hourly rate of 15 and the 23. So with this one, I just did a data validation one, so they can pick from the products like this little drop through, and they change it. This one is just finding, all I'm doing on this one is doing a VLOOKUP, look for the max, and then I want you to find the max one, that max of column K, and then I want you to look it up over in this big section, and I want you to reference the fourth index, which is the price, and that's how I got the price. So it's some cool tricks you can do when you multi-filter. And this one, we changed it. So as of this one, if we just went off the quantity sold with the profit sort of thing that we have, we can see that our optimal price at $15 an hour, hourly for the rate on the baby shirt is 23. Let's see what it is at 10. Oh, somebody joined us. Well, whoever joined us, thank you. I appreciate it. Please go ahead and leave comments in the chat. I'll try to answer them. But I'm going to continue on. So here's the quantity ones. We're going to go to the combining the two, where the hourly comes in. Now, crunch for time. This one's not going to be as long as the other. Now we're on to the, you're like sitting there like, whoa, Larry, let me show you the difference. Which one are we on? Baby shirt, $10 an hour, baby shirt. So we have 25 and 23. And you're like, whoa, Larry, why is there two price difference? Well, remember we wanted that minimum price factor, and we're taking it into consideration. And then you're like, Larry, why do we have two lines here? Well, we have two lines. One is the quantity sold. That's the blues. The blue sexagons. I think they're sexagons. Yeah, sexagons. I'll go with sexagons. And then the triangle ones are your profits. Now, what I have set up here is the actual profit that you're making at the price point. So it's this column over here, or with the triangle. And this column right here is the blue sexagons. Our optimal price is saying $25. Well, why is it doing that? Well, when we look at the column for the quantity sold, we can see that the optimal price for the baby shirt is somewhere between probably like $22.50, $23 is what it's saying. But what we're not taking into effect is the labor time that we have. We need to take into the labor time. So our optimal price for the labor time is like $25, right here on the cusp, right here. And what's crazy, as we go continue on, you can see this intersection. That is when the cost, see if I can explain this. So we have our profit margin. I'm not even gonna try to explain it. We're looking at this gray one, this gold one. This is the one we want to look at. I'm comparing the two. That's what I'm doing. I'm comparing the quantity sold minimum price to the actual price, because they wanted to make sure they had some sort of profit. So that's what we're doing. We're making sure they have some sort of profit. And this model fits pretty good. We're gonna change it. Let's change it to the mommy shirt, and we can see fairly close, like right there, but it looks like it's shifted $2 because we put in that $2 minimum price, and we're including the other one. Because I'm pretty sure it'll say $2 mommy shirt. It should be like 25.50. So the optimal price that it's finding is 25.50. So what is our 25.50? We would see, based off the forecast, we can see that this number says the price profit that we get is $144.30. But if I sold it for 25, I'm going to make $212. That is correct, but this model is built to account kind of like the middle range. So if you're within that range, you might have some good days, you might have some bad days. If you're in the unknown, using a model is the best because you can fine tune it later, but it gives you better guidance of the unknown. It's like shooting a flashlight. So when you shoot a flashlight in the dark, we're thinking mag lights. Those are my favorite. Checking intakes for P3s, but you could fine tune it and make it look like a lightsaber, and you shoot it down, and you take the beam would be like, the beam would be like this, and you can zoom it in so it's like pew. So what you're trying to do in this case is you have the uncertainty. You're trying to like broaden, like narrow down where you want it to go. Like I know this way, and this is what I know. So that's what models do. They don't give you the exact answer. They give you close enough to make an educated decision. So if I was to say, hey, I think over time you should sell mommy shirts for $25.50, you will make the optimal profit for you. And what was the labor cost on that one? Let's look at the mommy shirts was 24.24 and to make a shirt. So they're going to get a demand of 13 for whatever the period is. And we know that 13, I'm going to type that in there. It goes 13 times 0.24. It's only going to cost them 3.12 hours. That to me sounds like a great deal. It's only 3 hours of work to make, I lost my number, to make $144, but the forecast says you'll make roughly about 150, about 140, 58, 48. So you are going to see that you're going to get close to 150 if I sell at $25.50, but I'm only working 3 hours. No more of those 12-hour days, no more of those 12-hour, 6-hour days. I've raised my price, so I'm no longer fighting to the bottom, only scoundering to make t-shirts, sell them for 17 bucks and work a whole bunch just to get that. No, you are working to save time. And models like this help you save time because it sets your price up that meets the demand of what you want to entail on time, and you can optimize it to get the most profit for you. So that way you're not wasting time. Say you're bringing up and you're only going to get, say the demand here, I think it's the demand on 29, what did you say? The demand on 29, I think it's 12 shirts. You will make more money spending more time, kind of that curve. So at the curve where curves back down, that's where you want to make your most, that's where you want to start your price and mess around with that, and you're going to make the most profit. Will you make the most sales? No, we didn't do sales, we did profit. You can do this same type of application by using sales numbers. So if you're looking for the highest sales number, let's see, I think we get, find that one. You can use it to find the highest sales that you're going to get for it. But the highest sales might not be the highest profit margin you have. So these type of models work great for pricing, for inventory management, for, I'm drawing a blank, but they're there. You could do that for these. So building models, I'm losing my train of thought here. These type of applications, by scattering it on a data set and kind of seeing how the data goes and building out the model and seeing, going back to middle school, it's like y equals b plus mx. Yeah, that stuff actually works. This is how you use it to make your life easier. That's what algebra is. That's how it works. Spreadsheets do a great job of it, and they can help you find solutions to your problem. Will you make $158.48 each and every time? No, there's going to be some variation. And later on, as we get down some of these videos, I'm going to explain how you find the variation so you can have a range of what you expect. That's where you run into confidence intervals and usually 95–90%. But I hope that you found this video very useful. If you're struggling with understanding your pricing, or you want to raise your price, or you're scared to raise your price because you're afraid of what's going to happen, trust me, it's okay. You can raise the price. They might not sell, but at least you'll have some data that you can struggle with and see, okay, can I make more money this way or not? And where I see this being a big issue is I've helped people on LinkedIn by sending them sheets like this. They're very, very scared to raise the price. No, I'm going to cap myself out of the market. You might, but you can always go back to the price. And another good thing about raising prices too, that we'll get into in a later event, I believe, is if your demand's going through the roof, you can use pricing to help slow down your demand. There's a couple people on LinkedIn I've seen in the CPG community. They're like, I'm running out of stock. It's going too fast. I can't keep up with demand. That's absolutely right. Raise your price. No, nobody will buy it. Trust me, raise your price. Raise the price. People will still buy your product, but raise it in intervals, and you will be amazed that you might have a premium product that people are willing to pay top dollar. The first one that comes to mind that I saw is, if you haven't seen her, Erica. She runs the Tshirt Company in Canada, I believe. She's a phenomenal marketer. She does very well on it. And she's sharing her journey of entrepreneurship on LinkedIn. Her TikTok videos are hilarious. But she has a huge demand, and I suggested to her to raise her price. I don't know if she took me up on it. If she's watching, I hope you did. I hope it worked out. But situations like that, you can raise the price, and then you get these pricing structures, and then you can go back in and do problems like this where you're like, okay, where's my optimal profit margin? So I want to make the most profit with the least amount of work, and that stuff like this is how you would use it. I guess that sums up it. What we did is we made a quick table. Let me go back to we made this cool little dashboard in Google Sheets, and kind of went over how to find the optimal price. This is just one way. There's many other ways. You can build a machine learning model. If you have bigger data, different ways to go about it. But yeah, you can do this if you're just a simple e-commerce store. Something like this would work. If you're stuck on a question, you need some help, please feel free to reach out to me. Here's my information. Yes, I'm blasting it on there. Don't worry, I have spam filter emails, so if I don't recognize it, I will filter you out. So yeah, just leave a question, say you need some help on something like this, or you have a suggestion. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Or you might have a suggestion on a video topic that you might like to see my thought process of. I'd be glad to do it. That kind of wraps this up. Oh, let me put this back on. It kind of wraps it up. Let me check the questions. No, I don't have any. Didn't think I would. But the contacts. Please feel free to reach out to me. I will be putting this on GitHub eventually. Let me show you where it's going to be. It's going to be the GitHub repository along with the other ones. It's going to be on this one. I still have the other two I haven't done. I'm trying to figure out the best way to design this that is useful. I will have a blog post. This video will be embedded on our website as well. So that you will be able to see it. And if you think the spreadsheet will help, please let me know in the comments. If you think these spreadsheets will help, I'll leave them open for you guys to download on our website. Other than that, I think this was a quick and easy one. We will be back in 2 weeks. I'm not sure off the top of my head. Let me. Yep, nope, don't have anything open that can make me easily see. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, everybody. I appreciate the time. Thank you. Please check out. I'm sure there will be a video right here, probably from the previous live feed. The crazy one up here, or the most recent one will be up here. I don't know. We're going to keep doing this until September or something. But I think I'm getting the hang of it. These first 3 are little hiccups, but we're getting the hang of it. we are going to move forward. Thank you again. Leave comments. I'll respond to them or reach out to me. Thank you.